Good evening, and thank you for joining again. We will give it about 1 more minute, and then we will go ahead and start with the School Safety Forum in about 1 more minute. Well, thank you for joining us. We are going to go ahead and get started. It is 6:31 now, and we have had a few people have joined in the last couple of minutes, but the number has stayed fairly static with the number of attendees. So we will go ahead and get started. Thank you for taking the time to join us tonight for our safety forum, our Kaneland Safety Forum. We do look forward to taking some time to share highlights of what the committee has worked on, where we are in safety and security across our district, as it is a top priority. My name is Todd Layden, and I am the superintendent of Kaneland Schools. And as I always share, I am proud to be a Knight, and thank you for taking some time to join us tonight for this very important conversation. On the agenda, you will see that we will have the district safety updates that will follow. We do have a series of presenters from the committee that will share that information, and they will introduce themselves in just a minute, so you can put a name with a face from across our district. Also, we'll talk about our drug usage, vaping, and social media information, where we are, our current practices, and safety measures across the district. We will give an ALICE update, which is our safety training that we have done with our staff and students across the district. And then last, which is the interactive piece, we will break up into a Q&A by our grade spans. So once we get to that slide, you will see the directions if you want to go from the EC5 group, or if you want to get updates in the 6 through 12 group based on the age of your students. And IT has also shared that once you get into your breakout session, that you will also have the opportunity to switch sessions if you would like. If there's a pressing question or a topic that you have covered or that you hear, you will then be able to request permission to get moved to the other breakout session. So again, thank you for joining us tonight. And Dr. Fuchs, you can forward that slide. As we get ready to introduce ourselves, I do want to just take a second again to say thank you to this committee for your time and dedication, not just for tonight's presentation, but for the regular ongoing meetings, practices, and trainings and professional development that you undergo and that you also share with our community. So thank you for that. We will now introduce ourselves, and we will just go down the list. And when we introduce ourselves, please share your name and either your position or the department or the school building in which you work. So again, my name is Todd Layden, and I am the superintendent and proud to be a Knight.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Julianne Fuchs. I'm the Associate Superintendent.
Hi, my name is Jackie Bogan, and I am the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Patrick
Hello,
Raleigh is
everybody.
not with us tonight.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is David Chavez. I'm the Director of Communications for the district.
Good evening. My name is Tim Wolf. I'm the Director of Technology for the school district.
Hello, I'm Mark Payton. I am Director of Buildings and Grounds for Kaneland.
Mrs. Karen Smith, our Director of Transportation, is not with us tonight.
Good evening. My name is Noe Escamilla from Kaneland High School. I am the Dean of Students. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys.
Hi, I'm Deputy Chris Ruhai, the Kane County Sheriff's Office. I am the high school's school resource officer.
Hi, I'm Rick Burchell, the director at Fox Valley Career Center.
Mrs. Vita Martin, the Assistant Director for the Career Center, is not with us tonight. Ms. Weiss?
Sorry, forgot to turn off I forgot to turn my mic on. My name is Chris Weiss. I'm assistant principal at Kaneland Harder Middle School in Sugar Grove.
My name is Sean Aaron, Dean of Students at Harder Middle School.
I'm Officer Brett Taylor, School Resource Officer for the Harder Middle School in Sugar Grove.
Hi, Kara Salto, Assistant Principal at John Shields and John Stewart.
Keith Tankersley, Assistant Principal at Blackberry Creek and McDowell Elementary.
All right, thank you, Security Task Force. We will now get started with Mrs. Bogan.
Hi, thank you. Just a couple of pieces of information to update everyone on, starting with the Director of Communications. Mr. Chavez introduced himself this evening, and the district was very excited to welcome David to the team. He started at the district July 1st, 2023, so just before the start of the school year. Having a Director of Communications has definitely led to more increase in consistent communication with all of our various groups, especially our Kaneland families, students, and staff. So we welcome David to this team. Another person who you were introduced tonight is Officer Taylor. Officer Taylor is the school resource officer over at the Harder Middle School, as he said. And he joined the team this year, just before the start of the school year. So his presence has been a very welcome one. He has really focused on building relationships with students and staff. And it's been very valuable to the entire district community. Third, traffic control updates. We continue to have traffic control at the high school location. This year, we also added traffic control at Harder Middle School. The Village of Sugar Grove provides a police officer that's dedicated to safety both before and after school at Harder. This has greatly improved the flow of traffic, especially for Kaneland buses who are making those turns onto Harder from Esker. Stop the Bleed kits. The district continues to implement training for all teachers on Stop the Bleed. This will continue once all staff are trained. This will move to a regular refresher training. Each classroom in the district is equipped with a Stop the Bleed kit. Just a little bit about reunification planning. The district has implemented reunification plans as part of the I Love You Guys procedures. We are continuing to work with both our internal and external stakeholders to make sure that this process is fully implemented. And then finally, the Security Task Force introduced themselves this evening. It consists of members from the district office, different operational departments in each of the school buildings across the district. The Security Task Force meets on a regular basis, and at those meetings, we generally review incidents, procedures, and any best practices that are either currently implemented or need to be implemented into the district. So that's a little bit of an update there. The other reminder and information that we wanted to share was the district's reporting tip line. This information is available and up on the safety website at kaneland.org. This gives information for ways that if you see something, we ask that you say something, and you can do that by calling the number, by texting, by emailing, and then also just staying up to date with any safety information that can be found at kaneland.org /safety tip. So that's really a great way for folks to be able to have multiple avenues to communicate with the district on any safety related matter. Thank you.
Hi, Deputy Chris Ruhai here. just a handful of things. I'm not going to go super detailed. My biggest point I want to push is be open and be involved with your kids. It is very important to be involved in their lives and understand everything that is going on with them. The stuff on this, vaping, drug trends, cyber safety. Yes, you must be 21 to smoke, not at school. The big one, not all vape juice is created equal. They are putting stuff in there now that I can't even explain. There's weed killers. They are finding hallucinogenic plants from South America and Africa that they're adding to some of these vapes. It's very important to be open and honest and have very constructive conversations with your children about this and what it'll actually do to them if they choose to go down this path. It's huge. I've seen, not going to say that district wide, like we have a huge problem, but I've seen on a handful of cases where there's been a handful of kids that have taken these vapes that actually have these hallucinogenic chemicals in them. And I've seen them on a Monday, interacted with them, sat down at lunch, and then on Wednesday, they decided they're taking, they're going to take a hit from their friend on the vape, and they're not even the same people. They're not even the same child that I'm used to walking the hallway. So it's very, very important to have this open discussion with them. And I like the last one, the SRO is your friend. I've had 3 kids go through the district, K through 12. I know a lot of kids there. They know me, but it's also very important. I've told parents, I've told kids, like, if you don't think you could go to a counselor, if you don't think you can confide in a teacher, they can always come to me. I know a lot of people know me in this district. I'm not Mr. Big Bad Cop. I'm Mr. Big Bad Cop when I have to be, but I'm also their friend. So just points to hit on. Drug trends, prescription drugs. We'll do the THC cartridges and edibles. Fentanyl is the huge one that you don't know where it's at anymore. And it is extremely deadly. The littlest trace amounts of it, if it gets on your skin or gets in your system, can be absolutely fatal. There have been police officers, I'm sure everyone's seen the videos, where they accidentally touch something and 2 minutes later they're going to cardiac arrest on the ground. So this is what I'm trying to hit with. Have open and honest discussions with your kids. Fentanyl is huge, huge. It is deadly. It will kill them. And I don't want to sound overzealous but the point is, it's a huge discussion to have with your children, because I don't think they understand. I can liken it back to when my kids were growing up and, they're running around the house at 3 or 4 years old, and they accidentally, touch a wall socket or something. It might knock them on their butt, might wake them up. They touch something or they get involved with something, especially that's fentanyl laced, it will kill them. It will literally kill them. And it's just very important to have that discussion with your children about this.
Hey, Chris, can I add in on it with that fentanyl? That is absolutely right. That stuff is deadly. It doesn't take much to cause an effect, but they're starting to see fentanyl like laced in cannabis, vapes,
Yep.
or even they're getting fentanyl patches and using it that way.
Correct.
Yeah, the stuff is, you can't tell what it is until you already ingested it or touch it. And then
Yeah,
when it's
it's a very disturbing trend because, like I said, I haven't had a lot, but I've had a few, and I know the kids have. Like I said, I'm like, I've seen the kid on Monday, normal kid, and then they're under the influence of something. Like, that is not what that kid is like. That is not what that child is like. I did not talk to that kid on Monday morning about a Bears loss or some video game they played over the weekend or that. They were absolutely in outer space, if that makes sense. But Bragg, I completely agree with you on that one.
yeah, I mean, the stuff is, you can't tell what it is until it's already in your system. And the last thing we want, and what everybody doesn't want, is we don't want to have to tell parents or go to a scene where one of our students died of an overdose.
Correct. You're absolutely correct on that one. This clip is going to be the hardest one for parents because ever since COVID happened and we were locked down, kids are literally glued to their devices. So this is another one. Sometimes you got to be a parent and step up and actually pay attention to what your kids are doing online. I know there's a very fine line because I hear it every day that you want to make sure that your kids are okay. You want to step in and grab their phone and look at it, but your kids are going to take this as a very intrusive thing to do. So this is, like I said from the beginning, have a real conversation with your kids about this. And it's the first line of this.
Right. I mean, I'm sorry, Chris.
No,
but yeah,
go ahead.
no, I 100% agree with that. And, you know, as I've been telling some of the students at the middle school, once you hit send, whatever you do, when the minute you hit send, you can't undo it.
And it never comes back.
Yeah, it's gone, and it's for the world's eyes to see. No matter what you send, no matter how innocent you think it is, somebody can get it and somebody will use it against you.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. It does not go away anymore. It does not go away. It will always follow you through your life. Biggest thing I wanted to say for parents, it's starting to get out there, and I know it's hard. I know, Brett, you're dealing with younger kids, but I honestly, and to be honest with you, I can't even say you're dealing with younger kids because the junior high kids are just as sophisticated as the high school kids. It's almost getting to the point of trying to catch them or not catch them, but intervene at the elementary school level. Like, parents should have a plan. Like, I get it. It's hard. Everybody works. Everybody is out there struggling, but you know what? It's fine. Okay. 9 o'clock, you're off your phone. Hand your phone to me. It's done. You're going to bed. 9, 10, whatever. Every family's different. There's nothing wrong with having those boundaries. And in this day and age, it almost seems like it needs to start at that elementary school age. And parents, need to really, really understand that. I'll throw a few more things in this here for this, the cyber safety. Especially once you get to high school and older, it's going to be really hard for you to confiscate your child's phone and look at it. But if you do have the ability to do it, you know, they're smart. They have their own websites. They have their own block stuff. There's so many things where they use to communicate that as a parent, they've probably already been on there communicating for a month. And it took us that long to figure out that they were just communicating on this app or communicating in this group. You have to have that discussion with your children. The biggest thing is, if you think your child is, especially the older ones, high school, that they're online all the time, you might think they're not doing what they're supposed to do. A quick scan of the phone nowadays, the biggest one, and I could actually bring Tim Wolf into this or that, there's so many hidden apps now that I had a parent come in, thought their child was into some nefarious stuff. He had 3 calculators and 4 calendars on his phone. Now, I don't know if you guys understand or that, but I don't know how many of you, I've got 2 phones, we've got laptops. These are hidden apps. These are Dropboxes. These are things that they are putting on their phone because we're not as tech savvy as them to hide stuff from us. These are like some of the things now that are out there that parents need to be aware of. Huge, huge. If you have any question, if you think your child's up to nefarious stuff, these are things to look for, because they willingly give you their phone and say, yeah, look, I'm not on here. There are a few things you need to look for because they're probably hiding it right under your noses. So, that's about all on that slide. Unless anyone had any questions.
Thank you, Officer Ruhai. Just a couple other things for parents. Sometimes as parents, I know, Officer Ruhai, you mentioned starting at the elementary level, and I think that's a really great reminder. Kids are more tech savvy. They're getting into things earlier and earlier and have a much more advanced knowledge than sometimes we do as parents. But there's lots of things we can do as parents to protect our kids online as well. Some simple things are simple, like not sharing their last name, not sharing identifiable information such as where they attend school or their teacher's name. Doing some of those small things can also help, especially our younger students, get to know about technology and sort of some of those dangers online and ways to keep them safe. Thank you.
Officer Ruha, it's back to you.
Am I taking this one, or I thought, okay, I can take this one. I thought someone else was going to present, but so this one's a rough one. Because this runs through my mind every day I go out there to the high school. I'm sure, Brett, every day you go to that middle school, like, you don't know. You don't know. The biggest thing with this is have a plan, whether you're going to lock down, whether you're going to evacuate, for what it would be. It's an active plan. It's not static. You can't say, I'm going to lock down because we lock down. It might have to vary, and you might have to leave the facility. You might have to improvise and have a partial lockdown. It's just going to come down to what happens, what the incident is, and how it unfolds. So it's not a end all be all, like you do this, you do this, you do this. No, it's actually thinking on your feet for what the situation is. That's the biggest thing I can say to this slide is it's a continuing process.
Right. It is. And I agree. Not every situation is going to be the same. And there's a lot of what ifs, and you just try to be prepared for whatever comes. I mean, you just got to be the most prepared as you can. Not everything's going to be exactly the same or textbook situations. You just got to just be alert and be aware and just be prepared.
Correct. Yep, absolutely. And we can go over these like A alert. Oh, switched. I mean, just for an overview for the parents, it's kind of self-explanatory. And I will say that parents have to also understand in this day and age, every kid has a phone, especially at the high school level. Every kid has a phone. Information is instantaneous. That be patient. If it takes the district 15, 20 minutes to get you an email about what is going on, we will get the information to you. We are probably dealing with something that is developing and ongoing, where do I deal with calling parents or do I deal with mitigating the circumstances and the problem at hand? And I can speak firsthand to this, as I was in the fire at the high school and people are texting me and emailing me as I'm walking into a fire in a bathroom. Like, I want to answer your questions, but I might be a little bit busy right now. So I want to put that one out to parents, that you have an entire staff and group of people that their job every day is to make sure your children are safe. We will do our best to make sure your children are safe. But you also have to remember, in this day and age, you want an instant answer, you may not get it. So just be patient with us. We will disseminate the information to you as we can and as fast as we can. But in a scenario or situation like this, you just have to understand it is dynamic, it is ongoing, and it's always changing. So just have some patience with us.
Thank you, Officer Ruha. I'd like to transition to talk more about our emergency actions, specifically our 5 different types of drills. I know this photo may be a little bit blurry on your screen with some of those words, but please note you can also find this on our website. Kaneland had adopted this standard response protocol. It comes from a foundation called the I Love You Guys Foundation, as Mrs. Bogan mentioned earlier. Unfortunately, this I Love You Guys Foundation was launched after one of our, after a major school tragedy. And it was launched to provide consistent language and procedures. With that, this poster is hung in every classroom in the district in all of our buildings. So please note that it is consistent language and it can be found in every single classroom. As you can see, it's color coded and there's different icons. There's 5 different types of drills. You'll see on each one the name of the drill followed by a directive. So looking more at the hold in place, the drill is called a hold. Oh, I knew we were going to get a special visitor. Sorry about that. The drill is called a hold, and then the directive is you would hold in your room or area, clear the halls, and then we would add continue teaching. This is a drill that would be called if something's going on in the hallway where it's safe to be in the classrooms, but we don't want students to be in that hallway for that time. Then we'd come back on the announcements when people can move about the building freely. The next one that you can see is secure. That is the drill type. And then the directive is get inside and lock outside doors. This would be used if there was maybe an incident going on in the community. We even had this year, like there was an animal on the playground and it wasn't safe for students to be out there. So while things are safe on the inside and continue teaching, we just can't be outdoors at that time. The next directive, the drill is called a lockdown, and the directive is locks, lights, and out of sight. This is called when something's dangerous is happening inside the school building. Please note that we're required to practice this type of drill at least at minimum 1 time per year. And parents are always made aware of when we will have that drill in communication. Many of the buildings practice this drill more than 1 time of year as well. And that goes to the last couple slides with Alice and the different ways that we would react depending on the situation. A lockdown may also prompt the next type of drill, which is evacuate is the drill, and the directive, a location would be shared with the school communities at that time. A lockdown may turn into that evacuate, or maybe there's something happening in the building conditions where it's just not safe to be in the building anymore. And finally, the last drill is shelter, and the directive is hazard and safety strategy. We practice this at least one time per year with our severe weather and shelter in place drill. The next couple slides will talk more about what is the parent's role in these type of drills.
Thank you. So the next slide goes into page 1 of the parent handout. And our school has adopted the I Love You Guys Foundation Standard Response Protocol. It also acts as a training tool we use to create muscle memory to appropriately respond to a moment of crisis. This page is very similar and repeats a lot of the same actions as the previous page. It just communicates that that common language to parents, which is also available on our website: the hold, secure, lockdown, evacuate, and shelter.
Mr. Heron, I'd also like to add that on the second invitation that went out on Friday afternoon, this parent handout was attached to it in addition to being on the website. Thank you.
And yeah, a lot of it repeats what was on the previous slide.
So thank you, Mr. Heron. The next slide kind of gives some information in terms of what parents can do in the event that one of these emergency drills is activated or needed to ensure student safety. Just want to reiterate that what it means to be secure is really that's if there is a potential dangerous event or situation that's occurring outside the school building. That's when we would call to make sure that all students are inside, they remain inside, and that we secure the building. Typically what happens is if we do have to initiate this procedure, parents might think or ask, well, should I come to the school? Really, we would recommend that that a parent would not come to the school, because the school would be locked and we would not be letting in any outside visitors. And you may be asked to stay outside of the school until the secure is lifted. This also could be in terms of if a parent needs to pick up a student, we may ask the parent to patiently wait until we have deemed that the perimeter is secure and safe, and then we would release the student to the parent. That would really just be monitored and coordinated with the building principal and other administrators. Sometimes parents will ask if they would get a notification if the school goes into a secure. Typically, if it is a non-violent situation, in terms of, like Ms. Soltis mentioned, an animal on the playground, there may not be a notification sent to parents, but it really will depend on the school administrator or the event that's taking place. In terms of a lockdown, that is when we do lock. There's a threat inside of one of our buildings, and students and staff would then be trained to remain inside of a classroom, to lock the doors, potentially barricade the doors, and turn out the lights and remain silent. And really, a lockdown is only initiated in a drill or if there is an active threat inside or very, very close to the building. If there is a lockdown that is being put into place, parents really should not try to come to the building. As natural as that may be to want to come to the building, we do ask that parents do not, because law enforcement may be responding, and they would need to be responding to the active threat that's taking place, and we wouldn't want there to be any confusion. The other question in terms of when there's a lockdown in place, should parents text their students? We do recognize, the district recognizes, and administrators recognize the importance of communication between parents and students. But we do ask that the administrators would communicate any important information, especially in terms of students being evacuated or transported. We would be communicating that information. Typically, all these drills are announced. If a drill is unannounced, that would be something that we would want to inform parents that these would be happening. If it's an unannounced drill, there may actually be a situation that we need to respond to. And as always, parents can observe and participate in drills just to ask the administrator, and we would encourage you to do so.
Well, thank you for all of that information. Thank you for sharing. Thank you to all of our committee members. That does formally wrap up the general session. So that first 40 minutes was intended to be an overview on all of the topics that you saw based on the agenda. And so now in a few minutes, we are going to transition to our breakout sessions. And those breakout sessions are, again, EC through 5th grade. You're able to go into those sessions with more detailed questions. So hopefully the information that was presented to you tonight prompted some initial thoughts or additional thoughts, or maybe you're watching this with your family and a student might have a thought as they viewed it as well. So please know that once you, IT here in a second, will share the opportunity and how to break out into your small groups. But please know that your comments will be open. You'll be able to share comments, and then there's a facilitator in each of the 2 breakout groups who will facilitate that process. They will look through the questions and then read through those questions. Also, please know that as we have recorded this, there also will be the opportunity for us to follow up with additional information online if there are questions that we're not fully able to address during the workshop tonight. So with that, IT, do you have, or Dr. Fuchs, are there special directions on selecting the breakout session to go to?
Just in the message, put what breakout room you want, and we will invite people to those rooms.
Dr. Layton, if you'll remember, once everybody is finished in their breakout room, you want to go ahead?
Yes, thank you. That does, as I shared, that does conclude the general portion. So after we finish our breakout groups and those questions have been concluded, that will culminate tonight's event. But please remember that we are recording this. So if there's an opportunity for you to review it, we'll also share it across the community and hope others that couldn't attend tonight are able to attend at another time. Again, thank you for attending tonight. I'm sure I'll see some of you in a small group here in a second. And thank you for those that are going to attend the others and all of our presenters tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our tech people are working on getting us all in our breakout rooms, and then they'll start the breakout session shortly. And that's when you'll be able to ask questions. Mr. White, how are we doing?
We are working through the list. We've got like 10 to 12 moved.
Okay.
Thank you.
Meeting co-hosts can just jump into breakout rooms as you guys want.
Rick, I don't think that's letting us do that.
Yeah, it's not Rick.
If you guys go to the breakout rooms, do you see an edit button at the top? And then you should be able to go down and hit join.
My join is grayed out.
Do I exit out of this room first, and then just go back to the Zoom, the initial Zoom link?
12. No.
Can you get us in our rooms?
Yes. Also, I think I found the issue. You probably can join now.
Oh, I see the edit button. Thank you.
We'll give it one more minute just in case it does look like we are noted at the top. We are in our breakout room and that session has begun. So we'll give it one more, about 30 more seconds, one more minute. And I know at that point, Mr. Escamilla is going to take over and facilitate for our 6 through 12 session. So thank you. Mr. Wolf or Mr. White, are either, which of you are in this breakout room?
I don't think we're in the breakout room right now. This still looks like the main room.
The reason I ask is I just see a screen at the top that says breakout rooms are in session. Or we
Yeah,
just haven't
breakout
been
rooms
assigned?
are open. You just haven't been moved yet. We're about 3/4 of the way through the list.
Oh, great. Okay. Thank you.
if anybody else is still in this call, if you could please just leave a message of which breakout room you'd like to be moved into, and we can get you over there for some Q&A.
Hello?